All right, so this time we're in Suwon and we're with my friend Hannah.
Hey!
So we're at Mr. Toilet House.
Have a statue of a little boy pooing. It says skoma unga. Literally that means little boy pooing or little person pooing. And unga is actually the sound that you make when you're squeezing out a poo. So you go unga. So a little bit of onomatopoeia fun for you guys.
So poop, besides being kind of good luck, if you dream of poop, it's supposed to be a really good thing. And it comes from poop being like, how can I put it this way? Like farmers back then, they used to use poop as fertilizer. And that's where they got their harvest from. So it's like all good stuff. And there's actually a little short video about a poop that came out of a dog, like dog poop. And he thought it was worthless. But over the course of the video, he becomes like a beautiful flower or something. So that's kind of where Koreans get this whole thing about poop being good and all things great. So hope you guys check it out. Alright, so you guys might be wondering, why is there a giant toilet shaped house? So this place used to be owned by the mayor of Suwon. His name's Shim Jae-dok. So he's got a really interesting story. So I'm gonna start from the very beginning, if possible. So he was actually born in an outhouse, so a toilet. There's a reason for that. Koreans back in the day used to believe that you're born in from very humble beginnings, you will live a very long and prosperous life. So his mom wanted that for him. So he was born in the pooper, basically. So then, growing up, his nickname was Ketongi, and that just means like dog poop. So after he became the mayor of Suwon, he had this idea that NATO and the world just concentrates on like sanitation and food and water. Everyone concentrates on what goes in. No one concentrates on what goes out. So he wanted to like dedicate a good part of his life to promoting like poop sanitation. So he believed having good toilets or having a good life like that, it was like better for civilization. So he started doing that, expanding the toilet sanitation and making more awareness. He also did not like the squatting toilets. He thought they were kind of dirty. And so he wanted the throne. Anyways, he lived in this toilet house, and he actually also died here. So he was born in a toilet house, he wanted to die in one. And we're in a room where a very interesting room. There's clear windows, and you could see to the living room when you pooped. And you could also see outside the house because there's so many like glass pane windows. So people could actually see what he was doing, or so we thought. Actually, there's a trick. Whenever you close the door and you flip the switch, the window panes fog up. So the family in the living room, because right now you could see like the living room and the outside, he thought it was a nice view, could not see him actually pooping.
then, you can see toilets look like horrible places. They look like concentration camps. And so Mr. Kim Jae-duk, growing up during this period, really wanted to change all this. And so he saw the advent of flushing toilets here in Korea. So this is a photo from 1962, and it's actually an old septic tank. What it says is, next to the toilet, there were these containers that held human excrement. And so you can see what the state of toilet culture was like in the 60s in Korea. We've come a long way. That shows all the beautiful public toilets in Suwon. And so what you can do is you can choose which district, and then you can choose which toilet you want to see in particular, and it'll show you photos. There's really quite a variety here. You can see that toilets can take all different forms here in Suwon. They've really taken toilet modernization seriously. Giant turd, and here you can put your feet down and it looks like you stepped onto a poo.
So we have these guys and they have these buckets, and apparently from the sign they used to like carry the poop away. So maybe that's when the containers got full of them, or maybe they were farmers and they could use it to fertilize the land. Not sure, but it's pretty, must have been a pretty shitty job, literally. Might remember I made a video of cooked veggie, that is Jeju black pig, and I mentioned how those pigs used to get their flavor because they lived like a little pen outside the house, and they had like a little chute where the poop would come out because like the bathroom was inside. So these pigs fed on the poop, and that's how they got the flavor. And here we have the little statues that if I hadn't known that, I wouldn't have been able to understand what this was. Alright, so here we have literally a golden throne. So you take your squat. Oh god, that's so cold. Imagine doing that back then. It's terrible.
So a long time ago in olden Korea, when you would wet your bed, you would have to go through the village with one of these straw contraptions on your head. And it was very embarrassing, and it's a sad time, as you can see by this little guy.
Have this for the land, and these barrels are where they kept the poop. So after a while they use it to like fertilize the soil and get a good harvest. So yeah, imagine carrying this shit around all day basically.
As to what this is, and then I read the sign and it says meat shike. So that means to wash your bottom. So this is essentially to wipe your butt after you've pooed. So this is ancient toilet paper right here.
Yeah, you can see kind of where they put it, I guess, so they renew it. A little spiral. Cool. So let's talk about poop and Korea.
Well, in Korea, poop is a much beloved thing, actually. Koreans love talking about poop and they think it's hilarious, and that's probably where I get it from. Like, it's just a part of your everyday life. For example, when somebody has a pot belly, they don't call it a pot belly, they call it a dongbae, which means poop belly. And literally, that translates to meaning you need to poo. and that's why you have a belly. So that's an example of how poop is part of just everyday life and conversation here in Korea.
So yeah, basically when I came here, I was surprised at how prevalent poop is. They're not as squirmish about it as we are. So you can find the word poop in almost anything. I mean, you see it in food, and I did a few videos where there's like poop here and there. Poop bread. Actually, the first day I was in Korea, the very first picture I took was of a giant turd in Haewon. And I'll never forget my professor's words. She was like, "That's your first picture." But yeah, like poop here it's a pretty fun thing. I kind of enjoy the potty culture very much. So I hope you guys enjoyed Mr. Toilet. Pay him a visit sometime. He's a cool guy. I like him. And see you around. Alright, so we're at our first street food. It's hot dog. And it's kind of like a little pancake that gets kind of fried. And it's made with cinnamon and like some bark, some sea bark. So we're gonna try it out. Ready?